to order for May 20th, 2025, and it's 5:30 p.m. If you'll all join me with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And if we can get an adoption of the agenda, that'd be great.
I move to adopt the agenda for Tuesday, May 25th, May 20th, excuse me. I saw 2025 too much last night. Tuesday, May 20th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right, first item is the recognitions or proclamations. Anybody on the board have anything to hit up? Ron, you want to start? Or anything?
Yeah, I'd just like to recognize all the teachers and staff and everything for the school year that we're completing, and our sports teams that made it to the state playoffs, and the golf guys that got into, our girls that got into the state as well. So I haven't heard how they did, but anyway, yeah.
Good. Thank you. Sandy.
Well, the only thing left was I want to congratulate all our seniors who are graduating this year, that they persevered, made it through, and I went to baccalaureate last night and they did a fantastic job. They just ran it and it was great. So congratulations to them all.
Perfect. Thank you. Karen, do you have anything?
I do. It may be, since I wasn't at the May 8th meeting, it may be backed up a little bit, but I did want to give kudos to a few people and a few events. At Festival Foothill Art Show back in April, the end of April, was amazing. And just the work that went into that by many people, the thematic display of everything with the decorations and the music, the natural flow as people went in. And there were some things that really stood out to me. One, you walk into it kind of like an art gallery, but you walk into a section and the theme was Disney. So you walk into a section and it might be Nemo. Well, there was also music from Nemo there. But you walk into the next section, you've got Beauty and the Beast and music from Beauty and the Beast. And the best thing, I think, couple things, is the kids running around looking for their stuff and showing their parents where their stuff is. And it wasn't just here's kindergarten, here's first grade, here's second. What was cool was you would have an 8th grade painting here or an 8th grade clay pot here, and right next to it a kindergarten one. They were all, it was thematic, but they were all side by side, as if that was amazing to me. And I wanted to say, obviously, kudos to Amanda Bubb and her family, and all the volunteers, including our own Ron Alexander there and his wife, that spent many hours getting ready for that event. But it was amazing. And then, of course, the Scholastic Book Fair that went with it, and the ice cream social. It was a night that was just great to watch the parents and the kids. So I did want to bring that up. So that was cool. So also I did go to Mamma Mia, and I have been for nearly over 30 years going to high school performances as a high school teacher myself, and then later administrator at large high schools in Vegas and Arkansas. This one was better than any I have ever been to. It was standing room only that night. I took a friend with me, and I knew it was going to be good because Sandy made sure that we all knew it was gonna be good. That doesn't even say what it was. So it was an amazing performance that rallied, it competes with major high schools in this area and in other areas across the country. So that was an amazing night. I really enjoyed it. Of course, I can't stop singing dancing. My husband's like, you're singing it again. And I'm sorry, it's in my head. I can't get rid of it. But it was awesome. And then the last thing I wanted to note here, of course, we had the Festival Good Hill promotion this morning. And that was really fun to attend and watch those 20 students be promoted out of 8th grade. But one more time, I want to say how much I appreciate when the principals, when we have access to the principal newsletter, in as much as they come here throughout the year giving us their presentations to the board, reading those newsletters and seeing exactly what's going out to our parents and our community from our principals. I just enjoy those when you forward those. So I really want to encourage our principals to get them to you so they get to us, or get them to Casey, because I really enjoy those as they come. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Karen. I don't have anything else to say now. Dr. Remendini?
Yes, I'll probably repeat some. I do want to congratulate the class of 2025. I'm so looking forward to graduation. It's what we work for, right? For however many years it takes some of them, but really on track for a really high graduation rate this year, and looking forward to it. So congratulations to them. And obviously, thanks to the teachers and the staff. Some of you are in the room. Thank you so much for getting us here. Yeah, it's going to be a great year. I do want to do one shout out that just happened this last week. Our FFA program had their first ever banquet. I did not send those photos to the board, but I will do that. Ron and I both know as former FFA members that the annual banquet is a big deal. It's like you don't miss it. And so this was the first time our huge little chapter, our huge but new chapter, had a banquet, and so they pulled that off. So that's going to be a good start to a tradition, and it typically leads to donations and support for that. So congratulations to them for that inaugural banquet. So yeah.
Perfect. And a good thing about social media in this case was I saw
You saw it? Okay, good.
It was all on there. It was really nice. I enjoyed that. All right. Moving along, we have call to the public. Anybody? No, we don't have any extra public here tonight. Then we have our consent agenda. Do we need to pull anything from this consent agenda before we take action? Okay. Nobody? All right. So we can entertain a motion for that.
I move to approve the consent agenda for May 20th, 2025.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. All right. Then we move along to page 2. Yes. Oh. I have a little tradition that started this year, and I almost forgot my own tradition. So I would like to recognize we do have in our audience we just hired him just now. We have a principal for Wickenburg High School, Mr. Garrett Mayer. Thank you. Welcome to Wickenburg and family.
Thank you all so much. 5-0 is a great place to start, so I appreciate the vote of confidence.
Beautiful. All right, thank you. Thank you for that. I need a nudge. All right, action items. Mr. Scott. So we've got request for approval of our financial reports presented by Executive Director of Business Services, Mr. James Scott.
Thank you, Mr. President, board members. You have in your packet April Business Office Financial Report. You'll see our expenses are relatively aligned compared to last year. There was a little uptick in our regular M&O expenses, and that was due to some costs for food services because the funds for the feds lag when we have to pay, and then the county has kind of changed what they allow and don't allow, so we had to pay that expense, but by the end of the year that will all flush out. Our capital was a little bit higher than compared to last year, but that's due to us completing the purchase of our last brand new vehicle, which was the HVAC van, and then also the repair of the bleachers at Vulture Peak Middle School was completed, and that was the capital expense. So for expenses, unique expenses over $10,000. Norcon Industries was about $21,000. That was for the bleacher repair. National Bank of Arizona, $18,800. That was a final loan payment for a fire alarm system at Wickenburg Christian Academy, so that is paid off.
Yay.
Yay.
So we are, except for at least for some copiers, we are debt free. Bloom USA, the CTE program bought some new Chromebooks for student use. The $51,000 for the new van for HVAC. RWC is our primary mechanic, and we had some vehicle repairs done last month that was almost a little over $19,000, and then there was contracted transportation services for various events and so forth. That was $21,000 STA Central. Our compliance matters that we completed last month was open enrollment for all employees started, classified employment agreements were issued, and our quarterly payroll tax reports were completed. So our budget is in balance. We had no surprises, and we are in compliance.
Beautiful.
That's why I write it down. Thank you. If you have any questions, be happy to answer them.
Anybody have anything for James?
I just have a quick one about
Sure.
the Chromebooks. Are they, are the ones that we bought here replacing old and broken ones, or are we adding to our inventory?
I believe they were replacing they were paid with the CTE grant. So they were paid with that, but I believe they were replacing and updating so Mr. Jimenez can have more advanced technology for his film and programming classes.
Very good, thank you.
All right, anybody else for Mr. Scott? We can entertain that motion then.
I make a motion to approve the financial reports as submitted.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item B. We have our IGA agreement for the Festival Foothills Elementary School campus, the lease for church at Sun Valley. And anybody? All right. So we do need. Oh, that's going to leave us with a quorum. Okay, good.
Yeah. We'll be
All right. So anybody have anything for that? Read it. All straightforward.
And for the record, I
Recuse.
recuse myself from this vote.
All right.
And I'll make a motion to approve the second amendment lease agreement for the Church of Sun Valley at Festival Foothills Elementary School campus as submitted.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody left to oppose. All right.
Yeah.
So that motion carries. 3 to everything. Tasty. Yeah. All right. So action item C is the first reading of the policy advisories, the whole slew of them there. If anybody has anything, did you want to speak on these? Were you waiting? or
I
just-
think that it might be, if you don't mind, Mr. Mamalio, just to let the public know, ASBA, who is our policy service advisory, is doing not a complete, but they're doing a really good deep dive into our policies and doing a lot of updates. We normally only get a few policy advisories a year after the legislative session ends, but they are going through. And so this is going to be burdensome for several meetings down the road, but I think what I'm seeing so far is a very good changes and deletions and simplifying some of the policies that over the time have just gotten very burdensome and very wordy. And so we're getting as many deletions of some of our regulations will be cleaned up. So this is the first read of the first batch, and I probably have 10 more first reads that are coming, so there'll be a few until we get through them all, okay?
One of the things you said, and which is one of the things that impressed me, is that they took a lot of stuff out.
Yeah,
You know, because we don't need lawyer talk in these policies. They just need to be straightforward. So I'm real happy with what they're doing because I don't need flowers.
you will see in some coming up, you will notice that currently we have some policies and some regulations that are almost exactly the same. And so they're cleaning those up, which will make it easier for us to say what it is. I may have interrupted, I apologize.
No, that's fine. The first, I had a question about the first one,
Uh-huh.
the AA. There, between the two of them, there was an added paragraph, but it was a description of Yavapai. And so is that, I mean,
Yes. We officially are Wickenburg Unified School District in Yavapai County. We can and do some business in Yavapai County, but because so much of our district is in Yavapai County, we actually have a name and an entity there. The state, for everything, recognizes us as a Maricopa County School District.
but we have, our name is district number 60.
Because we're number 60, yeah, yes.
That's what, that was the part, you know.
numbers go by county. So
Okay.
Wickenburg was the 9th school district in Maricopa County.
Oh, okay.
And I have a list that beat us out, right? Riverside, Phoenix L. And that was the elementary, but we won't get into that history. But in Yavapai, we didn't get a number in Yavapai until our school district went into Yavapai at
Right.
the time before last
Okay.
that we assumed that district.
Okay.
That
I didn't realize it was
Yeah.
numbered by county.
it's by county.
Okay.
Yeah, I did notice we had 2 different numbers, but I also know from my job that when there was a home built in Yavapai on Vulture Mine Road, it said, even though it was North Vulture Mine Road, according to Yavapai, it was South Vulture Mine Road.
Yeah, because it's south.
Yes. So I used to change people's addresses to North.
It's really fun explaining taxes in the two counties. Mm-hmm.
I've had property that half of it was Maricopa. I mean, this was a lot, a building lot. This half was in Maricopa, this half was in Yavapai.
I will say on these first readings, I appreciate seeing the policy written with the changes in all the different colors and then the clean copy. And so it's nice to follow the changes. So I appreciate, I don't know if everybody does that, all districts, but that's helpful to me to see what's changing.
Right.
Casey likes to do those.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm sure she
Good
does.
job, Casey.
But it helps to know
Okay.
what came down as the change. And if we want to know why, we can ask you, but I mean, it helps me. Thank you.
It does, it is helpful.
Yeah.
All right. So then we've got, there's no action to be taken on that one because it was a first read. So now we move on to action item D, which is our ASBA 2026 legislative political agenda, the 2025 delegate. So you see what their political priority issues are, and we have the ability to make a list. Well, we have a list, but we can use that list, we can use this list, or just let them run with their list. Because this list doesn't change, or I mean, it doesn't change much in the years I've been here.
Yeah.
Everybody's
doesn't
looking to get
change.
things funded, and they're not funded yet, but they keep trying, well, allegedly they keep trying. So, what do you guys?
I think we've written the same priorities year after year after year.
As long as I've been here.
Yeah, and nothing has changed.
No.
Right.
So I don't see any reason to make another list.
Okay, well, we're all in agreement on that part
We
of
can,
it.
we send them a note, can we send them a note that says, once you make a change, then we'll give you an input.
Yeah. So, well, here's another note from Wickenburg.
I will say that I appreciate receiving this and appreciate knowing that the rural schools are part of their priority agenda. They're not lost out there. So I do appreciate seeing that they have that, our rural school areas a part of their priorities.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any idea how many, I mean, because we feel like we're reading the same list year after year after year, is there anything that they get past?
So this political agenda, may I? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the ASBA lobbyists and are doing at the legislative session to try to get some things going.
Right.
I think that there's a few bills that ASBA were pretty strong in favor of that are making it through. I'll try to put those on there. I don't get a lot of updates from ASBA. The two legislative committees that I'm on, we kind of monitor. I'll get a note from ASA and they'll list ASA, ASBA, and the AEA all support the same thing. And very rarely is there a conflict, but sometimes ASBA wants a bill or are lobbying for the same bill, that a different bill or a different outcome. I don't get a lot from them until the work has been passed, but most of it aligns with what all other education entities are looking for because it's funding. And these are huge, like you said, it's a huge list. Not all of these even make it to any legislator's desk because they have their own priorities as well. So
What I think one thing that I would really like clarified, and that's these vouchers. You know, in the respect that, you know, people are giving their kids ski lessons and they're taking them to karate classes, and you know, I read a lot about it recently in the newspaper, but that's not what the vouchers were for, and I'm really upset that, you know, they're getting away with stuff like that with my money.
Yeah, we've had this conversation. So yeah, we all are, but
Because the way it's written in here, I really don't see it referring to all that other stuff that they're doing.
Yeah.
That's my only comment.
yes, that is, contact your local legislator.
that was good.
Yeah, that is one of the reasons we are not out of the legislative session this year. There's kind of, the budget is being held up because of those disagreements about Prop 123 and vouchers and yeah. So, and the Arizona State Board of Education oversees what is legal and what is applicable to be used on vouchers, and there is a handbook for ESA, and it's not the vouchers, and then ADE oversees the reimbursement for the vouchers, so it's kind of not even at this level.
And our head is out there pushing them.
Yep. All right, so the other part to this is, does anybody want to volunteer willingly to be the delegate for the September assembly?
Yeah.
Because we don't have to do that. Okay. But if somebody really, like, that's the only thing I didn't do yet. Is that on your bucket list yet?
I was a delegate last session.
Yeah, I know it.
So
And it was a lot of fun.
it was. It was very informative.
So if you want
What was it, this one?
It was the September law.
Yeah, it's,
Okay.
so
I've been there too.
Why don't we have some time to think about it?
we do, yeah, yep. So we will table that part. We won't fill that in at this point. But we can make a motion to the political agenda part of this if you want to, unless you want to think about that as well.
I think we can make a motion to approve the suggested items for the 2026 ASBA political agenda, and then save that last half for the next, another meeting.
Okay,
That sounds
Second.
fair.
Mhm.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries, and we'll see the delegate assembly at a future meeting. And now we've got informational items, the items for future agendas. Anybody have anything that they want to add in there? Then we've got our announcements and our calendars.
I just wanna know where the Vulture Peak graduation is at.
Dell Web Center, 6 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? No. Good. All right, well, we can go into item 7, which is
I
usually
move
my
to
favorite.
adjourn.
Whoa, that didn't take a while.
I have that one down pat.
Can we get a second to that? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion
Wow.
carries, and this meeting is adjourned.